Well, I had a breast reduction, so I was a skinny girl. I always had like big boobs, and
What size were they?
they were like in the E's. They were pretty huge.
You say you went through a lot. Tell us.
You are really going deep, huh?
That's
But
what
that's
I do.
okay because I feel like my story will be relatable and it will probably help other people. So after, I got my breast reduction and stuff like that,
State Farm?
I told you before
Shout out
I
State Farm, man.
homeless. I had my stuff together, but
Just that one surgery just kind of messed everything up, huh?
it's
Do you
only
regret doing that? What's up, YouTube? I have the best trainer in Atlanta and possibly the world. Hit him up on Instagram at Katie with the Muscle. Now back to the content. What's up, YouTube? Atlanta Street Interviews out here with another one. So we got a young lady with us today. How you doing today, miss?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing really nice. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. So are you homeless?
Yes, I'm currently homeless.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 31.
31. And so how long have you been homeless?
I've been homeless for about 2 years now.
About 2 years?
Well, a year and a half.
A year and a half?
Yes.
Okay. So what was to happen a year and a half ago that caused you to become homeless?
Well, the thing that currently happened was that I had a post-traumatic stress disorder thing happening. I won't get into too much detail, but I had a medical condition and I went and got surgery, and after that surgery I went into a post-traumatic stress disorder, and it caused me to not be like myself. It caused me to just not feel like who I am. Before all of this happened, I was actually working. I was a working woman. I was working 8 hours a day, and I had my own life. I had a nice apartment. I was an insurance agent, kind of still am, sort of. I had my life going on, but when that happened, my mental state just kind of hit rock bottom, and it was during the pandemic, and I got evicted, and I ended up being homeless.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. And you say 30? Say you're 31, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do you have any kids?
No children. No.
No children?
Mm-mm.
Have you ever been married?
I have never been married. No.
Okay. So I know that you didn't want to necessarily disclose, without having disclosed too much, right? What type of surgery would you have had that would have caused that, whatever it was?
Well, I had a breast reduction, so I was a skinny girl. I always had big boobs, and
What size were they?
they were in the E's. They were pretty huge. And I was a skinny woman.
So you were slim and you had really, really big breasts.
Yes, and they were hurting my back, my shoulders. So for a while, I have been trying to get it, but my doctor had recommended that I wait because I was young. My breasts are still growing. But then I decided to get it, and I got it back in October of 2021. And after that, I just never been the same. So
what do you think happened?
Now that the doctors are professionals and experts are kind of explaining to me, it's basically my body just went through an impact or a reaction from having surgery. I never had surgery before. So that is what kind of caused everything, if that makes any sense.
Well, no, I mean, I can imagine almost like your body kind of has shock, or your system has some type of shock from having the surgery. Yep. So what type of effect, because you say you would have PTSD like effects, what type of effects are we talking about? Outbursts or just really
anxiety and depression. So once I kind of had my surgery, I was on medication. I didn't stay on the medication that long, the medication that they gave me, and I just hit depression and anxiety. But I feel like that was already there, but it just made it worse.
It triggered it.
It triggered it. So now I'm in the process of rebuilding myself. I went through a lot these past a year and a half, but
like what? You say you went through a lot. Tell us.
You are really going deep, huh? But that's
I do.
okay because I feel like my story will be relatable and it will probably help other people. So after, I got my breast reduction and stuff like that, I was on medication, the medication that they gave me, and the medication seemed like it was just a little bit too strong. And I told the doctors, and it seemed like they just brushed it off. But a couple months went by, and I just was not feeling like myself. But I wasn't aware that I wasn't myself again. And it was during the pandemic. I was by myself. I wasn't paying my rent. I didn't have no job. So I got evicted. And when I got
was that
evicted,
here in Georgia?
No, that wasn't in here in Georgia. That was actually in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, okay.
So when I moved to, when I was living in Pennsylvania.
You got evicted, and what happened?
I got evicted, and I was at another homeless shelter. It's called Bethesda Mission. They are great, by the way. And they just took me in. They took care of me, and I went to my primary care doctor, and they diagnosed me with depression and anxiety. So that's what they said what was going on with me. And for me, going through a lot, I've never been homeless. You know, I come from a background where everything was basically given to me. So I've never been in this predicament. So I've really went through a lot, just this transition itself. And I was very depressed. I had a lot of anxiety. And looking back at it, I felt like that experience needed to happen in order for me to be who I am now.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, let's put a pin right there, because let's just go back to the beginning. So, where are you from?
I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Hey man,
He's going in deep.
Hey man, shout out that big old Harrisburg, PA, man.
Yes, that country.
Shout it out, yes sir. All right, so growing up in Harrisburg, did you have both mom and dad in the household?
I did not. I actually was raised by my grandmother.
Okay, so you was raised with grandma. Did you ever get an explanation or understanding for why mom and dad, or mom or dad, didn't raise you?
My mom had me real young, so she just wasn't really in my life. That explanation I haven't gotten, but me and my dad, we're like the best of friends now, so.
Well, why didn't he, I guess, what was the explanation you got for why he didn't raise you back then, though?
So the explanation, it's not really an explanation. There's just a lot going on with my mom and dad, and I just seem to be caught in the middle of it. And you know, I felt like we're past that, and he's in my life now.
Well, I get it, but in order for us to understand, right? So
Yes.
we're just trying to gain understanding. So what is it that you feel like you're past him not, I guess, raising you? Was he active and present?
He
like growing up?
But I felt like my mother made it hard for him to be there.
And so the grandma that you was raised by was your mom's mom or your dad's
My mom's mom.
Okay, that was
Shout
mom's
out
mom.
to Grandma Louise. I love you. She's actually deceased right now.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear about that.
Thank
My
you, thank
condolences.
you. That's my angel, by the way.
100%. And so how young was your mom when she had you?
She had me at 16.
16? And so you guys' relationship when you was growing up, how was that like?
The relationship, it wasn't
Did she
was
live
distance.
Did she live with your grandma as well?
She did not.
So she had her own spot and everything else?
Yeah.
Did she have other kids and everything?
She did eventually ended up having my sister, but that was like years.
How many years difference are you and your sister?
We're 10 years apart.
10 years? I mean, and so at any point, did you feel like, you know, she kind of had abandoned you?
Yes, I did feel abandonment, yes.
Did you ever like discuss these feelings with her? Have you ever like talked to her about those?
I'm not at that point yet. I'm still working on myself and healing myself, so I'm not at that point to really talk about that with her yet, but I am getting there.
No, I get it. So she doesn't really know that you feel this way, or she may
like she knows.
She may have an idea, but she's never heard you say it.
No.
Okay, I got you. And so you say that you and your dad have a really good relationship now. How was it growing up, though?
How was it growing up? My dad was always there. He was always a provider. So shout out to my dad. Just always there for his daughter. I don't feel like I really ever lacked anything when it came to him. Now, our relationship, the communication was a little bit strenuous, and I feel like my mom kind of made that relationship very hard.
How so?
Just not really allowing me to see him, not being truthful about a lot of things that he was doing for me. I was a child, so as a child,
you're a little more easily manipulated, so, and you'll believe whatever the parent tells you or whatever. And so what type of stuff did she tell you? Like
that he's not a great dad, and that, you know, he doesn't care about you, and that side of the family is they're not there for you. Like, they don't want to be in your life.
I tell you, man, it's so destructive. You know, I just had a case a few weeks back where I united a dad that he had never met the daughter, and she was 12 years old. So it sounds like almost kind of a similar type of an age that you may have been when she was telling you these things. And it's just so disheartening because these, you know, there's plenty of dads that want to be in their kids' life that just are not being allowed to be. Did you feel any resentment towards your mom for how she kind of manipulated you when you was younger about your dad?
I did, yes. I did feel resentment, yes.
And did you ever like tell her about that, or?
I have not. See, being here in at the shelter that I am, I was actually about to state where I'm staying, but it's more so of a program. They work on you and your traumas and your past traumas. So I wouldn't say it's really a shelter. It's more of a program where they kind of help you deal with a lot of those things.
All right, so how did you end up here in Atlanta?
So that previous shelter that I was in, I actually had plans on moving to Atlanta, but this whole ended up, you know, being in a shelter and stuff like that kind of like threw my plans off. So the other program that I was in, I actually was there for a year, and I actually did work. I ended up working for 6 months. I was working in an insurance type
like insurance, right? I get it.
I was an insurance agent.
Was you on the phones, or?
I was on the phones.
Okay, I get it. Receive incoming calls and, you know, try to sell people insurance.
Money. And the whole plan was to like basically save my money and move out or whatever. And I believe I did accomplish that goal, but then I got laid off from my job.
How'd that happen?
They just said that they needed to downsize in the company, and they ended up laying off 842 people, and I was one of them.
What company was that?
Do you really want me to disclose that?
Yeah. These companies firing all these people. That's a nice little chopping block at one time.
Why do you want me to say that? Well, okay, it's called Go Health.
Okay. I mean, I'm about to say, listen, it didn't matter to me whether you said it or not. So, I mean, I was just, again, this is just the flow of conversation, right?
You're really setting me up here, but okay, it's called Go Health.
Well, are the Go Health gangsters gonna come and get you or something?
They might shoot us confidential information, sir.
Well, look, I'll take the Go Health part out, okay?
Okay.
All right, I get it though. So, long story short though, you end up down here in Atlanta. And so, you know, like I say, I mean, so you're in this program, and it sounds like you're receiving, you know, pretty good therapy and things like that.
Yes.
So what are our plans of just, you know, kind of getting up out of this position and being back on our own feet?
Right now, I'm in the third phase of the program, where you go through this program and they work on you with kind of setting you up to find a job, where they give you a lot of information, a lot of tips, techniques on how to get a job and keep a job. So my graduation for that is actually next week, and I believe I will be graduating with honors. And then the next step would be to find a job, and then, you know, hopefully get a car.
Yeah.
And I
congrats,
did apply,
by the way.
Thank you. I did apply for housing, so I'm waiting for that to come through. But I'm basically ready to get up out of here. And I came here, and I had one goal in mind, was to get back on my feet. I've been here for only 5 months. I did the first half of the program. I became a receptionist in there, and that's rare for somebody to be new. So that shows a lot that I was very trustworthy. Then after that, completed all my classes that we're supposed to, because we do have requirements. This is not just a shelter where you come just lay
Yeah, you got to do stuff. Yeah,
you got to do stuff.
Yep.
So I did complete all of my classes, all of the 8-week classes, and I graduated. So now I'm at the other half of the program, and I'm almost done, and I'll be graduating with honors with that as well. I'm waiting on housing to come through. I'm also an artist, by the way. I do paint and I draw. I was able to get an art business. I filed for my LLC, so I do have an art business. I draw, I do art, and
you got your work anywhere we can find it?
Not yet. I'm working on it.
Okay.
Still in like the beginning phases of
I get it.
set up. But I really came here and really did what I was supposed to do.
Hey, listen, we're definitely proud of that. We definitely proud of that. You had said something that made me trigger another question real quick. So being 31, right?
Yes.
The longest job that you've had has been how long?
The longest job that I had was about 4 years.
4 years, and what was that?
I was working at State Farm.
State Farm?
I told you before.
Shout out State Farm, man.
Homeless. I had my stuff together, but
just that one surgery just kind of messed everything up, huh?
Do
you regret doing that?
No.
No?
Because I needed to get that done, and being here has taught me a lot of things that nobody's exempt from anything in life, you know? Because before I was in this predicament, I thought I had it together. I was making good money. I had a luxury apartment. I mean, I was 28, and I thought I was doing it. I had money. I had men coming after me. I mean, men still come after me. You know, I'm pretty. But besides the point is that, like, I
had it going on, and now you took a little humble pie, basically.
Basically.
Yeah.
So it can happen to anyone.
100%.
I'm a different person now. I'm more giving. I'm more humble. I'm more caring. And I feel like it's just the beginning for me. So
yeah, it's a new beginning.
Yeah.
Well, listen, like I say, we really appreciate you taking the time,
Thank you,
answering all of our questions.
Thank you.
If anybody out there wanted to reach out, help, or donate, do you have a way they could do that? Do you have social media, Cash App, anything like that?
I do have a TikTok. It's called Baddie Artist Girl. I do have a Cash App. Hold on, let me think of my Cash App right quick. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I can't think of my Cash. See, that's the devil. The devil don't want me to get paid. But let me think of the Cash App. Goddess Lex.
Spell it.
GODDEX. Well, hold on. I can't. Why am I like messing up? Okay, so it's GODDESSLEX. Goddess Lex.
Okay. All right.
Because you know I'm a goddess.
Listen, you make sure you have a good one. All right, sweetie?
Thank you.
Yeah,
God bless y'all.
Yes, sir.